Hey everyone, it's me, Tyler. I am. I don't know how to really say this without getting nervous, and I don't really much have a script because I feel like the more I worry about the scripts, the more I feel like I won't actually make this video. So to put it in front of the conversation, this is a video letting you guys know that I am raising money for charity on December 6th for for Thankmas. And if you guys don't know what Thankmas is, it's okay. You don't have to really know what Thankmas is, but essentially, it's a charity event that's raising money for two charities, for two companies. One of them being Crisis Text Line, and one of them being Samaritans. Essentially, we are raising money for mental health, and just to really read because of how nervous I am, this guy, Jacksepticeye, he has put the mission statement up and out there for me, so I don't really have a script to mess up. But yeah, essentially, we're gonna be raising money for two charities, being the Crisis Text Line, which is a nonprofit organization that provides free 24/7 confidential text-based message mental health support in English and Spanish, and the Samaritans, which are a charity work across the UK and Ireland to reduce the number of people who take their lives and help people who are struggling to cope with how they're feeling with their life challenges. And if you guys don't know, for some of my friends that are familiar with my background, for some of my friends or people who've actually been following me through YouTube, I've gone through my own journeys. There are definitely a lot of things that I wish that had gone better for me growing up, and I can confidently say that I'm not the only one who has been in a situation to where it feels like my own resources has dried up. It feels like sometimes I was pushed against the wall, and everything that I have done with the knowledge that I've had at the time was not enough, and it would get me to be feeling really sad, really mad that I couldn't get out of it. Whether it was because it feels like there's a well of anxiety, and the only way for me to relieve that stress was either to lash out, get angry, or shut down. There's a lot of things that people go through when they're going through a particularly dark time, and I know from myself and from my own experience that I had school counselors help me go through these things. I've had a lot of friends distract me from my current situation at those times, and they were my restful respite for me to recover from. So I can't thank them enough, and I'm personally aware that therapy is a very good tool for a lot of people, and if you need therapy, please find a way to work with your provider. But if not, there's definitely other ways to do it. Like we just mentioned, over at Crisis Text Line. Crisis Text Line is free. Just text hello to 17741 or 443 support on WhatsApp to get the conversation going. Because again, everyone needs help, and even if you don't know what kind of help you need, talking through it can process what that means for you. It's kind of like when you go to school and they give you a little test just to see where you are. It's really great to see people, and through a safe conversation with them, you can find and really determine and dig through the mess of whether or not there's something going on, or if there's something to process. And there's no better example than looking within the back room that I have right now. It's still a mess, but I'm still going through the mess that's in my room, in our office. But Joanna and I are figuring it out still. There's still some clean things, like the closet's pretty clean. There's still messes in the corners, but it is a organized mess, and that's what a lot of people are. Um, Sometimes we experience less joy as we get older, but that is not the end. We can still find clarity in anger. We can still find joy within sadness. We can still be angry and sad at the same time. We can be happy and angry at the same time. There's mental health is very messy, and within the past 15, 20 years since the internet has evolved, the internet has pushed the need for mental health to the forefront since the internet was involved. Since the moment you were able to go on AOL back in the 2000s and just talk to people behind the screen, the it's very relieving for a lot of people if you have like a barrier to protect yourself and like be anonymous, because sometimes you don't want your family and friends to help you out, and that's okay. A lot of it, for me, I know that there's friends and family that are willing to be present for you, but I always have that fear that if I were to say something, it's still a wound that you grow up with as a kid. And for an Asian American, it's very confusing for me because I had to live on the standards of my parents, because my parents came here as an immigrant and they wanted the best for me, and my parents really tried, and they tried to provide us with opportunities that they didn't have back in Vietnam. They tried to provide us opportunities that they believed could have helped us in the future by the time we're 30 and 40. I am sorry to say that I am not a nurse. I am not a doctor. I am not an engineer. Uh, I don't have a blue collar job that felt safe back in the 90s. And it is depressing to realize for a lot of people that for some people have never finished their degrees and found other ways to be present. There's a lot of people who had dreams or who had been given the idea that if I go down this path of doctorate, I will get into a place of happiness, and that's not honestly true sometimes. Um, Sometimes plans don't go according to what you wish for, and sometimes you have to mourn the idea that you can't support the dreams that your parents think are good for you as an Asian American. They had my parents had beliefs that if I went through a certain like college degree, got a certain title, I would be safe. I would be happy. And we live in 2024, especially a time where we just finished the elections, to where a lot of people now don't feel safe, and there is constant debate of conversations to be had. I don't plan on publicly or privately speaking about politics until I feel safe to say it with that particular person. Otherwise, there's been countless forms, countless conversations of families separating because there's a certain stress when it comes to a particular like side of us versus the other, and that is very hurtful to believe like, hey, you lived with me, you raised me up for the longest times, but the moment we have this discussion, you cannot move, and you make decisions to where it can hurt a family member. And for some people have non-moving agreements and feel like if you don't believe what I believe, then I made a mistake. And I'm saying that generally because not everyone feels this way, but as common as it is to roll a 1 or a 1 on a d6 or 1 on a d100, I'm throwing dice in there because there's always a chance that that is somebody's situation, to where it may not be my situation, but if you roll a dice, I can guarantee it somebody is in a situation to where houses are divided, and it's stressful to see. People having arguments over politics, people having arguments over how to raise kids, how to apply taxes, how to go into the job market and education. It's very stressful. So, if anything else, that's really important to where nowadays in 2024, we have resources like Crisis Text Line, or in this case, if you live in the UK and Ireland, these are Samaritans is a very good organization, particularly because, in a very fun way, the main face of Thankmas, Sean McLaughlin, Jacksepticeye, he lived in those environments, and so that's his push. We are in the sweet spot of the Crisis Text Line area because I've raised money for a Crisis Text Line in the past, but essentially that's what we're doing on January 26th. On December 6th, we're going to be raising money for these causes, and in the link below, I'm going to be providing links for my campaign page, for the donation link, and also the link to this event page so that you can take your time to read it. I'm very bad at doing these things because, again, standing up front and on a soapbox is very anxiety inducing, to where sometimes you were never prepared for these kinds of responsibilities. You may think you've been raised to do these certain things. However, when I was growing up, my parents were so afraid of me not being safe as a 25-year-old in America as an immigrant that the majority of their focus was getting a good education or getting a good job. And for me, because of that being a priority, I wish I had a better resource in learning how to talk to people and being able to socialize with other people, because anyone in the 90s, anyone who's lived as an Asian American like I have, it may sound similar to where maybe your parents were so focused on those grades that sometimes they felt like extracurricular activities was a waste of time if it isn't related to sports, where they cared about your health, but there was never a stress on how to communicate with people, how to solve problems with people. And for a lot of people that is within the world, people can't talk to people. That's why when AOL came around, Twitter, Reddit, 4chan, YouTube comment sections, you felt safe saying what you wanted to say, but at the detriment of things being very unhinged and things being uncalled for. So I feel like I'm speaking more than I should have. So just to let you guys know, say it again, there's a link down below, and I'm going to be providing links for my donation page, donation links, and what this event is going to be for. On my page, on my screen, already the fundraising event before December 6th. Before December 6th, the community has already raised $8,727.24 at the time of recording. And the team that I chose to help with has already raised $100. I am hoping that our team, you and I, as you're looking at the screen, I'm looking at you, I'm hoping that we take the chance to raise at least $100, because it means a lot more than simply just, hey, here's 100 and have a good day. What I don't know what I'm gonna do for the 8 to 12 hours that I'll be streaming, but I'm planning on raising money, and I'm planning to figure out, hey, maybe every couple hours, every few moments, we'll get a chance to talk about what it means. What is mental health? What does it look like? What can it look like? Examples of media that shows a good representation of what it feels to be within an episode, and what anxiety can feel like, what lashing out or shutting down for a person feels like. And there's a lot of things that people are having a hard time to have a conversation with. But I'm for the 8 to 12 hours that I'll be streaming, I plan to, like, kind of like do my best just to really try to have a conversation and say, hey, you may be going through something, but your presence in the lives of other people is very important. Your life can add value even when you yourself don't understand it. It can be as very simple as you hanging out with your dog. To your dog, you are an elf. You're an ungodly being that may not age over the course of many, many years. But for a dog, their life is very short. Or when it comes to a parent and a child, a child's attention span is very short. So in some cases, the moment you have a kid, how does the next 10 years affect them? They rely on you, and you have a responsibility when you have, in a very Spider-Man kind of way, with great power comes great responsibility, and you have a responsibility to show your fellow person what compassion feels like, what accountability feels like, what and empathy feels like. I don't know. There's a lot of fancy words. There's a lot of jargon that can be shared and spoken with amongst a lot of people. But essentially, we're gonna raise money. We're gonna be raising money, and if we hit $100. At some point, we're still going to be streaming. We're still going to stream the 8 to 12 hours. This is a job to tell people that, hey, anxiety and depression, you can put a sock on it and there's the door, But yeah, I'm going to, in the meantime, until the December 6th, I'm going to go ahead and I will be stressing out about what to do on camera, because being an Asian American, I was never prepared for this, but I hope people have a space to just relax. And I know Friday is going to be very weird, so maybe I'll go until 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. because I'm starting at 10 or 9. So we'll see how that happens. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in December. Happy holidays, and I'll see you next time. Bye.